As recently as 15,000 years ago, the inside passage was a solid mass of ice. As the Earth gradually warmed, this frozen cover receded, leaving a coastline dotted with thousands of islands, which created protected routes along the north-south axis. Today, this passageway is a scenic delight. In some places, ships pass through narrows which seem to bring trees to within touching distance. Everywhere is beauty unlike anything else on Earth. Although Alaska was next to the last state to enter the Union, it ranks first in many ways. First in size, first in natural resources, and first in national parks. And Ketchikan is known as the first city of Alaska. In Ketchikan, you find water everywhere. One of the city's most charming areas is Creek Street. Once these buildings were home to the red light district. Now they house shops and restaurants. Ketchikan's other nickname is Rain Capital of North America. Locals will tell you the rainfall is measured in feet, not inches, and it surprises most visitors to find that there's a rainforest so close to the Arctic Circle. Just as you might associate rainforests with the tropics, you probably think of fjords as Scandinavian. But Ketchikan is a surprise here too. The beauty and splendor of Alaska's fjords unfold beneath you from the exciting perspective of a seaplane. Misty Fjord is a national monument. Its 2.2 million acres were set aside for protection in 1978. The deep fjords and sheer cliffs are accessible only by float plane or by boat. The name Ketchikan is from the Tlingit language. Depending on the interpreter, it can mean thundering wings of eagles or salmon creek that flows through town. Because Tlingit is not a written language, variations in English translations are rampant. What is certain is that salmon attracted both native and foreign settlers. At one time, this was salmon capital of the world. And those days are brought to life by the historic Libby, McNeil, and Libby Cannery. Built in 1913, the site carried on a thriving operation until 1959. It still provides insights into a time when Ketchikan hummed with salmon canneries working day and night.
This is the retort where the cans of salmon were cooked, and you can see inside. And the reels come down, and then I guess we grab one of these, and you pull the cans of salmon out like this, and of course they would be hot coming out. Once they're out, they'd be cooled in a bath of water, and then taken out to the cooling shed area where they'd sit, and then they would go upstairs to be labeled.
After the cans were cooked and cooled, they would go through Rosie, get their labelies on, and be put in racks and go out to the ships.
When American fishermen appeared on the scene in the 1880s, the Tlingit Indians had been harvesting salmon for countless generations. A favorite summer campsite was at the spot where Totem Bight State Park was established. The park's most famous attraction is the replica of a clan house. It also has a wonderful collection of totem poles, some Tlingit, some Haida. Native heritage is also preserved and celebrated at Saxman Village. Saxman is reputed to have the largest collection of totems in the world. They were collected from abandoned villages during the 1930s, and all have fascinating histories. If the water shapes the lives of those who live in Ketchikan, it also provides a range of vacation fun for those who visit here. Canoeing can take you gliding through the still waters of an icy lake. For more strenuous fun, kayaking is a way to get around town and get some exercise. To enjoy the watery beauty of Ketchikan without having to exert oneself, a cruise along the scenic waterfront is unbeatable. For a bit more excitement, a jet boat can take the adventurous for some up-close exploration of the pristine wilderness. For those who like to get close to nature, Ketchikan is a sporting paradise. Fishermen go in search of... The spectacular abundance of nature provides a dizzying array of pleasure in the first city of Alaska. Only by sea or air, there are no roads which connect it to the rest of the world. Juneau also has the distinction of being the largest capital city in the Americas. Despite being sparsely populated, it claims over 3,000 square miles of land. From the historical district to civic buildings, you can trace Juneau's growth from mining boomtown to seat of Alaska's state government. Downtown encompasses many of the landmarks which embody this interesting history. St. Nicholas Orthodox Church recalls the era when Alaska was a Russian possession. This charming house of worship is on the National Register of Historic Sites. Museums in Juneau catalog and chronicle the natural, cultural, and commercial heritage of which locals are justifiably proud. Of course, some people just naturally gravitate toward the freewheeling side of town. The Red Dog Saloon is a favorite with locals and visitors, all of whom come to partake of the spirit of the gold rush. Anyone exploring Juneau quickly discovers it has a personality all its own. There's no doubt the frontier spirit is alive and well. For some, adventure can be found rafting down the icy cold Mendenhall River. Others prefer to paddle a canoe to the edge of mighty Mendenhall Glacier. Still others get close to nature as they kayak across the protected waters of Auk Bay. For some, the frontier spirit comes alive as they pan for gold. It was gold, after all, that really got things going in these parts. In 1880, Dick Harris and Joe Juneau staked a claim here in what would be the beginning of the great Alaska gold rush. After an exhaustive search for treasure, some prospectors enjoy the pleasures of an outdoor salmon bake. The region's rich biodiversity is on display at the Gastineau Hatchery. Alaska is famous for the amazing ritual of salmon fighting their way upstream to spawn. At Gastineau Hatchery, the cycle of life begins early in the season with incubating salmon eggs and follows the process through the spawning season between late June and September. The hatchery manages to produce more than 160 million salmon a year. It's inevitable that some of these fighting fish be targeted by sportsmen, and Juneau is a popular place for fishermen of all abilities to try their luck. Wildlife isn't the only natural attraction around here. The botanical bounty is also impressive. A hike For an unforgettable look at nature's power, a journey to Mendenhall Glacier is unmatched. Landing on the sparkling ice for a close look at this awesome beauty is an amazing adventure.
Now if you look down on the side, you see all looks like dirt and stuff on it. This is actually caused by erosion. In fact, if you guys were just here a little over a month ago, you would not be standing where you are right now. In fact, all of you would be standing about here or out farther, because this ice extended out for 6 more feet. We're also moving down the valley right now to about 2 feet a day. Big rocks will fall into cracks like this. When these cracks close up, anything in it is ground up into a powder. And this looks like sand over here. You can see on the top we've been working around. It's actually ground up boulders.
The challenge of nature is one that some people just can't resist. This is surely one of the most scenic places to get an introduction to glacier hiking. Some people choose to visit Mendenhall Glacier without going airborne. A visitor center provides information and a lofty observation point. Another scenic gem is the view of Mendenhall Glacier from the little chapel by the lake. Mendenhall, along with Herbert, Taku, and Eagle glaciers, forms the Juneau ice field. The city is protected from this enormous flow of ice by the Gastineau Channel, Mount Juneau, and Mount Roberts. This peak provides an ideal viewpoint from which to take in the splendid setting of the city. It's also a great place to hike or learn more about the special heritage of the area. Juneau might have faded into obscurity when the mining concerns played out, were it not for it being named Territorial Capital of Alaska. Today, both mining and government remain as the cornerstones of Juneau's heritage. While the towns and villages of Alaska are rich with history and adventure, the heart of Alaska is the scenic beauty that envelops everyone who sees it. Lying south of Juneau is a serene bay which leads to Tracy and Endicott Arms. The icy waters are fed by North and South Sawyer glaciers and North and South Dawes glaciers. The imposing walls of the Arms encompass some of the area's most abundant wildlife and spectacular glaciers.
Selamat malam para pengunjung dimanapun berada. Ini sekarang di Studio 5. Sore Gensan akan menyaksikan pertunjukan malam saudara sendiri dimanapun berada di seluruh Indonesia. Kami dari Studio 5 Jakarta menyanyikan langsung. Kelihatan Mas? Ya gelap ya gara-gara nggak ada sinar.
Captain Trygve Born.
Yeah, good evening, good evening, good evening. So good to see so many of you. You found a seat. That's excellent. Well, before we begin, I'm feeling jiggy with it up on the bridge, and we need some juice on the mic. Well, ladies, I'm here, and I'm here to say that it's Captain Boring the Southern Coastal today. Can't you see I like to eat pasta? I have no idea where the hell was Costa Maya, so I came to the show. Rod Stewart, my friends, jamming to the beat, cause there is no ends. I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say. Let's have another Costa Maya, Costa over that, I say. Yeah. One thing I knew, one thing I tried. It's time to put the captain up into the sky. It's gonna beat to the time, gonna beat to the rest. Rockin' to the beat, only I know best. It's gonna be little times if you want to see my show. Rockin' to the beat, I don't know where to go. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.